Another common fallacy is the slippery slope, or assuming the worst. A slippery slope fallacy happens when someone takes a small action and immediately jumps to an extreme outcome without any evidence to support the chain of events. Slippery slope sounds like, if we allow this once, everything will fall apart. If we change this policy, productivity will collapse. Or if we give an inch, people will take a mile. And what makes this fallacy so persuasive is that it's usually delivered with certainty. Like, the extreme outcome is totally obvious. But most of the time, it isn't obvious. It's actually assumed. This is basically fear filling in the missing information. When people don't know what will happen next, the brain defaults to the safest prediction it can come up with. And safe in the brain doesn't mean optimistic. It means protective. It means worst case. So instead of reasoning, you get a leap. So you'll see that slippery slope thinking is constantly in workplaces. A team suggests a small flexibility change, for example. Can we allow remote work 1 day a week? And the response becomes, if we allow that, no one will be accountable anymore. Or someone proposes adjusting a workflow. Can we simplify this step? And here's, if we do that, quality is going to go downhill. Or someone raises a reasonable exception, like, could we give this person an extra day? And the response is, if we do it once, everyone will expect it. Notice what's happening here. No one is actually discussing the original request. They're reacting to an imagined future. And yes, it also shows up in relationships all the time. One partner will say, can we talk about how we handle money? And the response becomes, if we start tracking spending, this relationship is going to turn into a business. Or someone says, I need a little space tonight. And they hear, if you need space, you're pulling away and this is going to fall apart. Or if you bring this up, it's going to start a huge fight. Slippery slope in relationships often sound like, if we do X, it means Y. And then it's over. It turns one moment into a full storyline. And the problem with that is that it shuts down conversation completely, because now you're not discussing a topic, you're defending against an ending. Here's the skill with slippery slope fallacies. Don't change the fear first, slow the logic. Because if you try to prove them wrong, emotionally, they'll just cling to their story. Instead, you calmly ask for the steps. So a strong response sounds like, that's a big outcome. Can we walk through how we'd actually get there? Or help me understand the steps between this decision and that result. Another great response would be, do we have any evidence that supports that chain of events? And lastly, a great response would be, what guardrails would you prevent that from happening? So this approach does something important. It respects the concern without accepting the conclusion. You're saying, I hear the worry. Now let's reason through it. And this is the difference between being dismissive and being thoughtful. Dismissive sounds like you're overreacting. Thoughtful sounds like, let's map the logic here. That's why this works in high-stake conversations. It's calm, it's fair, and it invites the other person back into reasoning. You're not shutting them down. You're asking them to slow down. When you start noticing slippery slope thinking, you'll catch it everywhere. Anytime someone goes from, if we do this one thing, to then everything will fall apart, that's your cue. Slow the chain, ask for steps, ask for evidence and guardrails. You're not dismissing concern, you're asking for reasoning. If you take one thing from this video, let it be this. When conversations stop being about ideas and start being about people, clarity disappears. The moment you separate who is speaking from what is being said, defensiveness drops and real understanding becomes possible. So if this was helpful, this video is part of a full series on persuasive communication, where I break down how influence actually works in leadership, business, healthcare, and everyday conversations. And if this is the kind of skill that you want to keep building, make sure to like and subscribe. And of course, if you have any comments or ideas on some other topics of communication, persuasion, leadership, I'm happy to help and create more videos. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. I'll see you in the next video.